Speeduino update. Look at that. I've been fiddling with this thing all weekend, so I'll have a couple things to show you, but right now I just want to show you the ignition timing. So, excuse the camera jittering around. So, that's roughly the right RPM. And got 25 degrees of idle advance to it. I'm going to try to get the camera. I don't know if you're going to be able to see it. Of course it's not going to focus. Anyway, I guess I tried. Turn that off. It is dialed in perfect for timing. And it's nice and rock steady too. It doesn't vary it until it goes around the map. So, dual wheel for Speeduino settings was definitely the fix. It's pig rich right now. So, just so you know, it still needs tuned in, but all on the Speeduino ECU. I'm getting really close to driving it. I got it hooked up to Bluetooth right now, but just to prove the Speeduino ECU is still in there, that's it. And there's no wires right now. It is all hooked into that little Bluetooth dongle you see lighting up there. I got the idle dialed in. I need to drive it around because I can't do auto tune right now because the wideband's reading in gas. I'm going to shut it off for the rest of the video. The wideband's reading in gas, and the tune-up is in E60. So, because of that, I can't use auto tune because it will do all kinds of screwy things. But it is working. So, I'll bring up the laptop here. I want to show you guys. That way, you guys don't think I'm pulling your leg or anything. I did have to change. Let's see, whenever I verified my timing, I had to, it was 12 degrees retarded. Let me zoom in on here for you. It says trigger angle. And if you read this, it's a number, this number represents the angle after top dead center when the tooth number 1 passes the primary sensor. So, it's 12 degrees after top dead center, or it was 12 degrees retarded. That's why I had to add a bunch of timing to get it to fire up originally. I don't know if I ever took a video of that. I shared some video stuff on my Facebook page, but I don't know if I shared anything on YouTube yet. But if you didn't know, I had to add a bunch of timing to it to get the thing to fire up, and I figured it was going to be off. But how the Speeduino works, it's set up right here. You can see dual wheel. I have it hooked up to a 24x LS motor, so it's 24x, but we're using cam and crank signal. So the dual wheel also takes the cam signal into effect. Both triggers are set to falling. I have the trigger filter turned off, and I have the resync of recycle turned off, and it's been working perfectly. This was a big thank you to CJ Calhoun and whoever else was, CJ Calhoun, and it was a mix of him and Josh Stewart and another guy that was having an issue. I don't remember where he was. He was putting a 5.3 LS on his drift car and couldn't get the fire up, and Josh Stewart on the Slack forum said that he put it on his bench, verified the issue of the 24x decoder, and had him try this. He tried this and it worked great. So I did the same thing he did, and mine works perfect too. So you don't really need, if you're running Speeduino on an LS 24x motor, you don't really need the 24x crank decoder. You just need the dual wheel setup, feed both sensors into the Speeduino, and set them up like this, and you're good to go. So, general update on the board, which would be, let me go around the car here. I'm actually going to turn the battery off. I got the fan in front of it because I've been fiddling with it for a bit now. I had to go back to old trusty from that guy right there for my wideband controller. I either have the wrong sensor, which I'm kind of leaning towards, which would suck because I just paid like $50 for that sensor. I think it might be the wrong one for the wideband controller on the board, or the wideband controller on the board is junk, or the traces go into it or garbage. It free air calibrates, which technically with a Bosch 4.9 it doesn't free air calibrate. But whenever you have the sensor in free air, it goes all the way up to 20 AFR, which is what it's supposed to, and it does come down when you start the car, but it absolutely floats around. It goes between 10 and 18 to 1 AFR with a nice smooth idle. I knew that was bogus because when an engine's going that far back and forth on air to fuel ratio, the car will miss and stumble and bog and do all kinds of weird stuff. So I knew it was bogus. So I first thought, okay, maybe it was the harness, because the harness was a takeoff of a different vehicle that was having wideband sensor issues. I was like, okay, maybe it's just a harness. So I made a new harness today, brand new connector, all good wire, all resistance checked. I actually did a load check with a 194 bulb, and they all checked fine. So it was a load check versus voltage drop, whatever. I load tested the wires, and they were fine. So I put it all together, put it in the car, tried that. It was better, so I'm thinking the old connector was maybe messed up, but still not enough of a change. It was still hunting around. It was at least 6 numbers of AFR difference. Excuse the mess, I'm still working on the car. But it was 6 numbers different on average, and it would just keep floating like just a roller coaster back and forth. I was like, there is something wrong. So I went back to Old Faithful. Old Faithful still works. So I ended up cutting the original harness of Old Faithful for the wideband out of the car. So I ended up having to take the box apart and figure out where the wires went and then put everything back together. But it's working perfectly now, and the entire tune is rich. And I'm thinking it's just because I was using the ECU, or the old fuel maps and stuff, the old settings off my MS2 and throwing them into the Speeduino. Obviously they're 2 different computers, and that is why. I'm kind of curious if there's not something else going on too. I'm going to have to dig into it a little bit more, because I'm going to bring up my VE map for you guys and show you. My AFR table is set up for E60, so this is why all the numbers will seem low. If you look here, I've got in this section, which is relative idle cruise, up to 96 kPa, which is still under vacuum in the ignition. I've got 11.3, which is stotch for E60. Alright, it might be a little under stotch. But then I have it going up, get richer, while still under boost here, and then get up. I think I have it's like 0.7 lambda, or maybe 0.75. I can't remember. I have to do the math. But this is the same fuel map I ran, AFR map, or like target AFR. I ran on the MS2 with the 1097 pass at 129 in the quarter. So it's the same target AFR map. So because of that, I figured, okay, this is the same. The VE table would probably be close, but I'm guessing the VE. I'm gonna just keep that up here. Let me go over and bring up the VE map, VE table. Okay, so I figured this would be similar. I took literally the same values I had. I had to interpolate a little bit because Speeduino has more table size than MS2 does on almost every table. Not quite every table, but almost every table has more table size. So I had to interpolate between some things. But for the most part, I figured it was going to be close. And don't get me wrong, it did get the engine started. But the only part I've really fiddled with is this section right here, which is the idle section. What you saw on video tonight is the farthest I've winged this thing since I've gotten that. I probably got pretty close to not REDLINE, but to rev limit. Anyway, you can see right here, like these lower tables are at 11, and then I got it up to these 2 tables with it in neutral. No, sorry, in gear. I think it was reverse. And it bumped up to this because you're putting more load against the engine, and it started coughing because those 2 were at 11 to 26s. So I bumped them up to 26, and it seemed to make it even out. So obviously this entire map needs retuned in, which I can do. It's just gonna take time. I need to finish getting other stuff set up on the car. But those numbers were at low 30s, kind of like the rest of this down here, over here, and I'm literally down 20 numbers for VE. So I'm not sure and it just seems low. Like I don't think that engine only makes 11 VE at idle. I guess it could, but the VE table back when it was in the Mega Score actually seemed like a VE table. So I need to do some poking around and seeing, is the Speeduino VE table actually a VE table, or is it more just for fueling and you adjust it till you get your numbers right? Because this in Mega Score 2 seemed like it was an actual VE table. That was what the car, volumetric efficiency, 4,000 RPM at 180 kPa intake manifold pressure. It was, 98. I'm gonna bring the screen brightness back up. It was 98 VE, or percent volumetric efficient. So I'm not sure if I maybe have a setting wrong in Speeduino yet. I gotta do some more digging. Maybe it's fine. I just need to remap everything. Not totally sure there. I do know like the Speeduino handles the injectors differently than the MS2, so I think that might be a part of it. Again, not 100% sure. It could all even be like my injector dead time's wrong or something like that, because I haven't even really looked into that. So it very well could be just something simple I'm forgetting and it's messing with it. But overall, you saw how it ran. It runs great. It actually seems, this hysterically seems more crisp than the MS2 does. I don't know if it's because I'm just flooding it with fuel right now, and maybe the MS2 wasn't completely, it was tuned in. The thing worked great. So I'm not sure if maybe this is just a faster processor and it's just processing everything quickly or better, or if maybe, this has actual, this has all the ignition drivers on the board, and they're actually what's supposed to be on there to run these logic coils, where that old MS2, I had to have an external board, and I didn't really know what I was doing back then, so maybe I messed something up there, and it's just running better now because it's correct. I'm not 100% sure. But, doesn't matter. Speeduino runs the car. I've got the cooling, or the cooling fan's working. The fuel pump's working. I haven't wired in the tach yet, and I haven't wired in closed idle yet. But the only issue, Bluetooth is working. I actually 3D printed a little box for my Bluetooth. I don't know if I got enough light to show you. I might be able to dig this up. Camera work? Because it's black. I guess that'll work. I taped it together for now. I actually messed up the design. I was supposed to have 4 screw holes right here to screw it together, and I forgot to add that in there. So I just taped it together for now, but that holds the Bluetooth, and you can just twist this off right here. That's the connector. Let me get you in frame. So that's the connector right there. It's one of those pass-through connector type deals they use on like airplanes or whatever. So you can twist this off and then pop that connector out if you want USB connection. If you want Bluetooth, you plug this in and you're good to go. So nothing big there. What else? I do want to, if I'm going to keep that wideband controller, obviously I'm going to tidy up all the wiring on the floor, and I still got a bunch of wire tidying I need to do, because it's a mess under there. And main thing was I just wanted to prove that it worked to myself, mainly, because of the fact that there are a couple of people that have run these on LSs, but no one's really, that I'm aware of, has gotten it successful completely, or they have and haven't posted about it. So, which is very possible. I think the drift car got it working good, but I never heard anything back after that. So, anyway, I'm really close to getting ready to street drive this thing after, cleaning up wires and stuff. I got to wire the tach in, and I'd like to figure out idle air control, because that was a big thing about going Speeduino, was I wanted idle air control so the motor can, idle up and down itself, and don't have to press on the throttle like I did on the MS2 to get the fire off initially and stuff like that. I wanted to do it all automated and be glorious. So I gotta do that. Gotta wire in the boost controller yet to the Speeduino, so I can do shenanigan testing once I get everything kind of dialed in on just 10 pounds, because obviously the whole tune-up's rich currently. So I gotta do that. And I got to, tach that, and the nitrous arming switch I need to wire into, and the nitrous solenoids, which I have to change the solenoid wiring, because the Speeduino ground controls the solenoids, and the MS2, I believe, controlled power, I can't remember. So I have the MS2 was damaged technically, it wasn't controlling the nitrous solenoids correctly, so I kind of fooled the whole system and ran the solenoids off a wide open throttle switch on the throttle body, that's going to go away because it's now all integrated into the Speeduino. It can work off the TPS sensor to do it. So that's going to go away, get wired correctly for the Speeduino. One stage of dry nitrous. The Speeduino will add the fuel. Hopefully I won't melt the motor. I might drop this shot. It's got 100 pill in it right now. I may drop that down just for testing and work my way back up to it. But overall, it's working. So it should actually start right up. I still got tuned in cold start, but I got the heart start figured out. Oh, I turned the battery off. I guess that'd help if I hooked the battery back up. There we go. So, let's try this again. Ta-da! It might die. Oh, it didn't die. It's gonna die. Yeah. Again, hot start tune up still out. You can hear the cooling fan running. I gotta dial in the after start enrichment while it's hot. Again, it's all kinds of tune-up stuff that I need to do. Actually, I can probably get it running though. Let me show you. That was rev limited if you wanted to know. So, goes right up to rev limit just fine. Oh boy. Yeah, again, it needs some tuning in, obviously. Not everything's set up correctly. I gotta tune it in a little more. Because all the maps are off, so, which you'll have that whenever you switch between ECUs. But anyway, that is your Speeduino update. I'm just checking to make sure I don't have anything else. Hopefully the next update I'm going to post is going to be driving. I'm going to have the in-car camera on it, drive it around the street, just kind of, because I gotta gingerly drive it right now, just so I get the maps and stuff dialed in. Obviously right now there's no load on the engine, and it's rich, so it's not like I'm going to kill it right now. But if I load it and don't have it tuned in correctly, it could hurt the motor. So it's like you gotta work your way in steps. You gotta get the off boost stuff tuned in, then you work your way into boost a little bit, tune that in, that parts of the map in, and then go more and more until I get it dialed back in. Which was the same way I had to do on the MS2. So nothing I haven't done before. I've just been fighting with the wideband mainly today, and some other odds and ends, just kind of getting everything situated. And it was the wideband and verifying the timing. That took a little bit just to get find top dead center with the piston stop and everything. And just make sure I had all my timing verified. But that's all happy and dory, good. Next update will hopefully be either tidying up that wideband in the car somewhere, and I might just have to use that one for now. I got to look into the sensor, see if I got the wrong sensor for the wideband I have in the module, or if it's just the wideband controller in the module's junk. I got to look into it a little bit more, or maybe board traces or something. I'm not sure. Everything looked fine. I checked another board and everything seems correct, but something's wrong. So I got to figure out what's going on there. But hoping IAC valve. Hopefully be able to show you I gotta look into seeing if I can flip the nitrous switch on and show that it's armed on the screen. I think you can. I gotta do that. Wire in the boost control and just do a functional test, with idle command 30% duty cycle, and make sure the valve's ticking, clicking like it should. I'll probably oscilloscope it because, as you guys know, I make boost controllers, and I have all the test equipment to test the voltage outputs and whatnot, the control circuits for those. So I'll probably just grab the testing equipment, make sure I'm getting it on this one as well, and then that should be good. And I'm going, wired attack in, gotta do that. The 411 PCM's going away. I have been mainly running full manual valve body for a while anyway. That's for a while. I mean, I ran it, and don't get me wrong, it works good. When whenever you have it hooked up and everything, it works good. My main concern is the inputs for the cam sensor between this and the Megasquirt 2 are a tiny bit different. I don't want to fry my Speeduino. This hooking the crank sensor up to the Megasquirt 2 was fine. I am really wondering if it doesn't have a 12 volt pull up. I'm pretty sure it does inside that PCM. If that's the case, it would completely not be happy with my Speeduino. So, the 411 is going to go away. So, I could probably test it at a later date if I have a spare Speeduino that I'm willing to sacrifice for the greater good. Don't have one right now. So, because of that, 411 is going to go away, and that's also just going to give me a reason to build my transmission controller that everyone has been asking me about. It is coming back. I've got some other projects I got to get done first. It's mainly this computer, getting everything situated here. I got a data logger I'm going to bring to life. I've got another business idea I may be bringing to life, which won't take long at all to do. And then it's going to be the transmission controller, because I would love to get the sloppy trans brake on this car all integrated into an Arduino controller and let her go. So obviously that will work with the Speeduino. I'll make them all work together, and I'm going to try to make it work like the guys with microsquirts and MS2s, because I still have that MS2 I can use on the bench, just supply it voltage, and maybe I can get my simulator, my Speeduino simulator to work on it to give a voltage input and stuff, so it can feed out some CAN bus net messages and stuff, and make the transmission controller work with CAN bus stuff. I also have a microsquirt technically I could fiddle with and make sure like everything works with those, and see if I can find someone for testing. But anyway, I've heard you guys. I'm not forgetting about you. I just got to get. I'm a one-man show when it comes to R&D, and I've got to do one project at a time. And right now it is Speeduino. So very happy though. Getting really close. I'm hoping once I get everything tested and I'm happy with the results, I'm going to start at least get one made and shipped out for testing on another guy's vehicle. And my buddy Myron, whose truck we just got running this last weekend, he is jumping from microsquirt to this. Oh, I also forgot to tell you guys, I got the flex fuel sensor in for this. So I didn't get the connector though. The connector will be on Friday. So maybe next weekend, maybe a week after, I'll redo the fuel system on this just to put the flex fuel sensor into it. And then I will hook all the stuff up to the Speeduino and have to probably retune absolutely everything, because I'm tuning it on E60, and then it's going to change it all up when I go flex fuel. So that ought to be fun. Anyway, it might not. I might be okay with what I've got. I'll have to just figure it out. But I'm just happy right now. That literally the video I just took, this of it running, starting it back up after it was hot and taking it right up to REDLINE was the first time I took it to rev limit. So you all got to witness it on video. So be happy. I'm happy. We're all happy. So major Speeduino progress. And as I said, I will post more videos as I make more progress. So what else do I need to talk to you guys about? I think that's everything for right now. If you like these videos, please subscribe. If you have any comments or anything, let me know. Comment on the videos. I do look at the comments. I'm trying to respond to them. So if I'm ignoring you, just know I might be working on this. So, or my day job or whatever else. But I am listening to you guys. So just let me know what you think. I'm really hoping to bring these to market soon. I would love by, within the next month or so. I'd love to bring these to market. I know I'm going into the winter months, so it might be a little slow till spring comes out and people already get projects going. But I'm excited because it's glorious what these things are going to be able to do for how much or how little money you have in the ECU. So very, very stoked, very happy. So thank you guys for watching. As I said, if you think these videos are worth your subscription, please subscribe, and have a good day.